Hi, I'm Tom Craven. I'm going to critique and then edit really old photos that I took. So let's get into the video. So I've gone and found really old photos that I took. I think these were 2013. So I hadn't been doing it very long, especially gig stuff. I think I'd been doing it about 6 months, maybe a little bit longer. Yeah, a bit longer than that. It's not really that experienced at all. To give you a little bit of background, I was never the creative one in the family, so me picking up a camera, these are going to be awful, some of these. I've cherry picked them, so I've got 19 photos, just because there's no point in sitting here going through hundreds. And also, I don't think it's fair on the artists for me to show you a ill-timed photo of mine where I've taken it and actually they don't look very good because I've not timed it very well. So here's the first one. This is Ella Air. So first of all, the white balance is completely off because I will have had it on auto white balance. What am I using here? Can I see? Yeah, 35mm. So this would have been the 1.8 35mm, which I actually sold. I don't know why, because it's an amazing lens. I think it's because I was always too far away. As you can see, there's a lot of dead space around her, which can be good and bad, but because it's only the 35mm, that's the option I'm given because that's as close as I could get. So I think it's not an awful photo. I think there's better timings that could have been had. There's a photo either side, one where she's half blinking and then another one where Ella is pulling a bit of an odd face. So this was the better of the three, really. So let's go ahead and just correct the white balance. So I'm going to just do it manually because it's easier. So I reckon somewhere around there. Am I gonna? Yeah, probably about there. Literally no difference at all. The exposure is not actually bad at all for once, which surprises me a little bit. Going back to these kind of days, probably going to punch it up a little bit, just a tad, and then where it's on the face and the hair, where that's come through, I'm just going to bring that down into highlights, and then I'm going to crunch the blacks because that's what I seem to be doing these days. And then I still feel like a little bit warm, but there we go. And then also what I've got to think about is what are these photos going to be used for? And these are probably going to go on to Instagram, Facebook, Twitter and all that. The reason that's important is when it comes to cropping, if I'm going to crop in on what, it's probably not a very high res image anyway, because this is D3100 or 32 or 3100 at this point. So as soon as you start to crop in, because I'm going to crop in, I reckon, and I'm also going to have it that I'm going to go for a 4:5 aspect ratio, just because that is there for Instagram. That just allows you to get the best out of it. Do I want it to be centered over that way? Yeah, why not? Because I can. There we go. So that is a little bit low. Yeah, you can see that it's losing detail there in the image. So I may just bring it back a bit. It's getting quite obvious that I had cropped in then. So I've just taken it back a little bit. That will now be done. These are already started. I don't know why I'm starring them. Okay, next image. So, so this is Ella's guitarist. And for some reason, I was loving Dutch angles at this point. There's quite a few of these. It's like, this thing is an alright actual exposure. It's, yeah, let's put the OG on. Yeah, there's no reason for it to be a Dutch angle here. I've probably taken what is probably not a very upbeat song, gone to photograph the guitarist, and he hasn't really been doing much. So I've just taken it at an angle to try and make it interesting when actually it's still not interesting. It just isn't, let's be honest. I think there's probably a good... Ooh, I'm pushing that exposure a little bit far, a little bit further than I want to, but crush these blacks a little bit. Crush them. It's okay. I mean, I now wouldn't take a photo at that ridiculous angle. It's horrible. All right, next image. Okay, the reason I've chosen this one is because it looks like there's something going on there. So, could. Yeah, I'm going to put it in black and white, and then, no, it's still not there, is it really, the image? Still not anything to particularly write home about. The framing's really odd. It's probably because she's going up and down, and I just wasn't able to time it, because this is when I had just really started and I wasn't really thinking about the artist specifically. So now I'll actually beforehand I'll go and look at how they perform certain songs, knowing that they're probably going to be early on in the set, and at least get an idea of where they're going to be, which way they're going to be facing, what they're going to be doing, just so then I can actually be a little bit more on the ball with it. Would I crop this? Probably would, but I'm actually thinking if I'm going to crop it, I'll just go for a 16:9 crop. So the reason I want to do that is because then actually I don't lose any quality when someone looks at it on a screen, because it's still just going to fill the width either way. So all I've done is taken off what would be, actually on this I'm only taking off the top of the image, just because I don't think it needs to be in there. Yeah, pretty happy with that. I mean, I don't know what I'm going to do. No, not that one. I'm going to get a graduated filter. Oh, the other way, always do that. Right. Now. Yep. Oh, I don't really want to be trying to get rid of the mic stand and the neck of the guitar here. Really, if I was going to bother, I'd also get him out, but I can't be bothered. So, quick clone of these. There we go, get rid of that. Give it a minute. It's having to think about that. Oof, it wasn't sure on that one, was it? I think this is a new machine. Now, get rid of that one. Where is it going to try and select? I'm hoping it's somewhere up here. Come on, you can do it. It's because I'm trying to. It's because I'm recording on the same machine that I'm editing, so it's not enjoying itself. There we go. That looks better. It just cleans up that side of the image a little bit, and just kind of draws you in towards the artist themselves. Okay, next image. Again, another Dutch angle, completely unnecessary. The faded film looked alright. See, I've called that faded film. It's got no grain. Right. Yeah, Dutch angle, absolutely unnecessary. I went through a phase where when a guitarist was doing something, I would actually focus on the guitar, because quite often I would be really close to them and below them, so it actually made a difference on the focusing. And I'd focus on the guitar for some reason, thinking that was somewhat of an importance, but really I should probably get one of each. And now I really just focus on the eyes of the artist. I do really like these colours. This light though up here in the top left is kind of distracting me. So I'm thinking, can I do a really dirty clone? And like, for me, this is fine, because I could have just angled it differently and got it so that wasn't ever in there anyway. Yeah, it's just, but the reason I'm getting rid of it is because immediately my eye was drawn to it, and I just want to get rid of it so that no one is distracted by it when they view the image. Because the rest of the image is really clean around him. You know what, that will do. A little bit of red, because there's red anyway there. So I'm happy with that, as much as I wish I'd focused on his face. instead of the guitar, but I kind of like the colours, they're a bit funky. Is it a bit warm? Kind of like it being a bit warm, to be honest. Okay, next image. So this is Gabriel Aplin now. So the reason I selected this one is because I think it's this one or one very similar where I used to have it on my website, my portfolio, but I don't. On its own, it's not a very good image because it doesn't tell a lot. It's all right because it shows the artist there singing clearly in the moment because got her eyes closed. But apart from that, it's not an overly interesting photo, so I wouldn't post this photo on its own because it's not going to do very well, shall we say. Black and white's really not working because of that top. Just because that top's so colourful and got so many things going on with it that it can't really be black and white. Right, let's sort the skin tones out. I'm doing this the wrong way around. I should really be doing the skin tones first. They're a little bit green, aren't they? That's better. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Happy where that is at. And then again, if this is going to be on Instagram, no one really notices that you've taken off top and bottom of an image. And I am going to just bring it in a little bit because I don't like the way the mic stand is coming into frame there. Just because that creeps into the frame again, it's just to get rid of it because it's a distraction, not because I'm trying to fake it particularly. It's just a case of there's no real reason for it to be there, other than it was there, but it's just a bit of cable from the mic stand, I believe. So that's that one gone. And then I'll get rid of this. I'm going to leave him in there because that will take a bit of effort to actually remove, and I'm not going to do it in this video. But let's go on to the next one. Again, a jaunty angle. Why have I done that? I probably just wanted to make it interesting. Just wanted to make a photo interesting that isn't interesting. You know, I'm not even going to edit it because I just don't like it. There's no reason that an acoustic artist like Gabriel needs to be sideways. No, I'm not going to do it. This one I really like because actually that is very sharp for this camera and this lens. I've obviously learned from my mistakes from using like a 35mm prime where I'd have to be right underneath the noses, and then gone and got a very long lens, but unfortunately a very slow lens because it was f3.5 to 5.6. So let's do a quick edit on this one. I do like this one. I wish the hair wasn't over her eyes, so you could see that eye, just because you kind of lose that connection. But I suppose if you were to post this image with several others, that it wouldn't be so bad because it can just be a moment that's caught and doesn't have to be a connection that you have with that artist. Now, skin tones, the skin tones are off and I can't work out why. No, I'm not sure. I think it's the tint. There we go. I often go for quite very warm skin tones just because I like it to look like it was always summer in every single photo I ever take. I'm just going to get rid of this because it's just a hand creeping in ever so slightly and it's just a little bit of a distraction and there's no reason for it to be there. I could crop it out or I can hopefully get that will do its magic. So that's okay. I like the fact that it's on complete black as well there, and the fact that you've got obviously a very neutral light on her face and then looks like a purple light. Just gives a nice little separation instead of it all being very plain to all you lighting designers. Now I'm unsure how I've actually managed to take this photo because it's 135mm. Oh no, sorry, this would have been the is it like the 24 or 17 mil or 18 mil to 135? That's what this would have been then if these are both 135, because it's not a coincidence that I've gone to them. That's probably just the longest the lens can go. But I'm unsure how I've got this, because at the Students' Union that I was photographing at, Kiel, the pit was very small and they were always very close to the edge of the stage. So really the best photos were from the edges of the pit and not directly in front of them. But it almost looks like I'm just off the side of Gabs here, and I'm not. I'm definitely not. So what we'll do is we'll sort the skin tones. Really quick way of doing this, actually, now that I've got an eye to play with, is go with the white of the eye. It's not always perfect there, it's not perfect, but it just brings it a little bit closer than where you may have already started. Again, I feel like this camera was very heavy on putting green tint in it. Everything. I'm not liking the fact that here you can see where the light is just spilling round, but as I change this, you can see where as it moves around, I've got to have some kind of, no, I'm going to go back to where it was there, just because that's more on the cheekbone, to make sense that it would be there. Maybe would black and white work on here? It is a solid black and white. Yeah, I'm liking that. Am I though? Am I liking it? Yes. Getting there. No. So the thing is, a lot of just tweaking, especially old photos that I'm not. Yeah, that'll do. I'm getting annoyed by the amount of noise that you can see in the background, but this is a entry-level camera that was an entry-level camera in 2011, 2012. So it is going to be quite noisy at ISO 3200. Yes, it will be very noisy then. Let's go to the next. Again, this image works well as a group of images would, because there's no connection there, because the eyes closed. So let's sort out them skin tones again. Where am I going to have this one? There. I feel like throwing it into black and white is such an easy option. Like it just kind of always works, doesn't it? Black and white. It is like the default. If you can't get the colours right, just go black and white. It's okay. But again, that wouldn't work as an image on its own. You'd need to put that with a set of images where you can have the viewer connect with the artist. Let's go to the next image. So this is Labyrinth. So he moved around the stage a lot, so there was a lot of energy going on. This one I had on my website for a while because it gives me eye contact. But I don't like the framing at all. Like that framing can absolutely do one. So I'm going to crop it for Instagram because it is that way around. Oh, so let's just bring this side in. Yeah, I think that's probably the best I'm going to get with that crop. So I almost want to just get his face in it, just because this is the issue you can have when you've got lights that are directly just above the artist, is that it creates shadows on the eyes and then you don't get that contact with them. So as you can see, his eyes just fall into shadow. So there's not much I can really do with that without it being obvious. So I do like the overall feel of it. I'm push the blacks, but I'm gonna raise the shadows a little bit. There we go. So yeah, I really like that one because it actually it connects with the camera. Unfortunately, the framing was awful. Now, I've picked this one because of the dead space around him. I found that interesting. But again, it needs cropping because it is a portrait photo. So if I'm going to stick to one of them rules, right, so his face is in the crossing of them third boxes. Right, there we go. Apparently that has to be a thing. Let's just bring... Ooh, it's quite a lot of motion blur there. What am I at? I can't see because the recorded is blocking that. Oh well. But yeah, so it's okay. It's okay. Again, I wouldn't now pick this image at all. I wouldn't have shot it so slow, to be fair. This I really like because it's going to be a challenge. So let's see what we can get out of this image. I like the fact that he just sat there. I believe he's got his eyes closed. Yeah. So he's got his eyes closed. So where am I going to put this exposure? Yeah, this is really hard, this one. You know what? I didn't even think. Black and white. Right, that resolves all that, doesn't it? That's sorted. Should have done that from the beginning. Yeah, it's going to have to be black and white, isn't it? And then what I can do, actually, just crunch the blacks and bring that exposure up. That's a little too far. And then go into tone curve. Let's just move this out of the way. There we go. I like it. It's okay. Ooh, now he's right in my face, so let's actually check this. Yeah, it's alright, but again, I've gone for a jaunty angle. I'm not going to edit this one because it is so underexposed, but it's okay. It's not, it's rubbish. Let's be honest, it's awful. Like, there's no reason for me to be on a jaunty angle. If the artist is coming at me, actually engaging with the camera, I just need to capture that and not think about getting a quirky angle. There's really no need for it to happen. Here we go. I like this image. I never edited this at the time, but when I went through them just before, I found I really like them. See, that's already not a bad image. Let's see if we dehaze it a little bit. Exposure needs to go up a lot. Yeah, there we go. Right, this one will definitely be cropped for Instagram because of all that headspace that is entirely unnecessary. There we go. Just bring the shadows down a little bit just to make the fade a little bit better. There we go. Yeah, I like that image. I like the fact that there's the haze coming in. He's obviously engaging with the crowd directly behind me. It's just, I suppose it could have just been better timed, really. It's not awful, but could have been better timed. You know, this one I edited ages ago, and it's, again, you wouldn't put it on its own. The artist may, because it's the artist and everyone who follows them knows what they're supposed to look like. But if this was for a review, you wouldn't use this image because it's showing a moment, but you can't see the face. So, which is fine. It's again knowing why you've taken a photo and who it's for, and who's going to actually be using it. There we go. And if we're going to crop it for Instagram, where are we going to crop it? That actually works alright, doesn't it? Probably bring it up a little bit just so there is a bit of headspace, because I do like having a bit of dead space. There we go. So that looks alright. There's a lot of motion blur going on there because he moved about a lot. But there we go. Okay, another one where he's playing a slower song and is sat down. This one we'll keep in colour. Again, how far do you want to push an image with an exposure? There we go. And then I'm going to crop in because I do not like it. Them skin tones are not right. There's too many different kind of lights going on there that I could not handle. I'll just leave that image there. Looks okay. Again, timing could have been a little bit better. Bit of a better expression. It's not an awful one, but could have been better. Should I punch them back soon? Just a smidge. Again, that just draws your eye towards Labrinth himself. This is Frankie Muniz from Malcolm in the Middle. He is a drummer in a band, and obviously I tried to photograph him. Actually, the lighting was great for a drummer, but very good lighting, which is very unheard of. I'm going to crop this in just because I don't like the fact that these two lights just poke into the frame unnecessarily. Again, I feel like cropping is completely fine when you know it's only for an Instagram post. If it was for a poster or a billboard or something that's going to be bigger than just a little, like your phone, then yeah, I would not want to crop in. But for this, it's fine, and especially as this was clearly when I was learning, and now I don't make this mistake as much, so I don't have to crop all the images. I crop probably one image in an entire gig. The skin tones are actually solid here. I'm not going to punch the blacks that far. Let's put OG on there. Just gives it a little bit more rich in the colours, just a little bit more contrast in there. That's all that really does. It just saves me having to tweak them all individually. It's quite complicated, that setup. Let's see if you can read it. Ooh, we can almost read them. I like the way one of them's definitely got capital letters halfway through. Okay, so this is another jaunty angle. This is Frankie Muniz's, I believe he's lead guitarist and singer, but there's so much motion blur going on there, and the jaunty angle that's completely unnecessary. I'm just doing that to make it more interesting, aren't I? These were all on the same day, so I clearly had an idea of what I wanted in my head, and I've just taken it a bit too far, probably. No, don't need that. Oh, let's take that back. Let's take that up. There we go. That's getting there. It's not awful, but again, if this is going on Instagram, because everything is these days, I'm going to crop it to that. Let me know in the comments below which photo you liked, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Bye!